Okay, we will get started. Welcome to lesson 0.2, geography class expectations. Now remember the expectations for all videos. This video and the Schoology tab are the only windows that should be open. Now I do say possibly your notes because I do want to offer the opportunity for you to type your notes because I know some people don't have great penmanship. They can type faster than they can write. They don't have to do that. I do have hard copies of the notes, the outline for you should you want that as well. So I want to leave the choice up to you. And in this instance, there might be a third tab that would be open for your notes. As always, for the videos, the most you should have your computer open is for 20 minutes. Now that could be longer. I think this video might be one of those where as I'm going through it, I will say, you know what, you might need more than 20 minutes. I certainly could say something at the beginning of the class about, the lesson that you should be on and say, hey, this lesson is a little bit longer. The video is a little bit longer. So you have 25 minutes or whatever it may be. And as always, if it's green, please write it on your notes. So when we see writing that appears in green, you need to put it in your notes. I know you're going to hear that a lot. You heard it last lesson. You'll hear it this lesson. You'll probably hear it in the next lesson. I probably will keep saying that for the first, 5, 6, 7 lessons here. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to write the lesson question, which is what is expected of me in this class. So, of course, it's in green, and you're going to put it at the top where it says, write the lesson question in green here. Makes sense. Now, obviously on yours, it's not a red circle. I just did this so that you can see where to put it. So at this point, you should have what is expected of me written up here. The next thing is to write down the key issues in green in your notes. Now, again, you could type these, but the format will still be the same. If it's a gray box, the key issue needs to go in there. If there's something else about that slide or with that key issue that you want to write down because you think it's important, you want to write down because you have a question about it and you want to remember to ask me later, something you just find interesting because you want to tell your parents about it at the dinner table tonight, that is your place to do it right down here, okay? So here we go. Key issue number 1, cell phones must remain out of sight during class time unless you are ahead of pace or Mr. Libby states they can be out for academic purposes. Now, the latter there, academic purposes, that will be the exception, not the rule. More often than not, I will have you working on a Chromebook. The only exception to that would be if we have a tech shortage or something like that, where the only way for you to get the assignment done is to use your phone. But by and large, you will not be needing your phones in this class. I know that's a hard thing to tell an 8th grader. It will not make me very popular, but the assignment today for this lesson will probably shed some light on why I think it's an important expectation. So please keep that in mind. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I know if I'm on pace? You'll know if you're on pace every day by the pace setting board, and I will project that every day onto the whiteboard. And so if you look at the left, this right here, this is just an example. This is not a, they're made up names and stuff because I haven't done this yet in real life. So these are just made up, but this is what you can expect. So if we look at this example, you'll see we have Timmy, Sheila, Joey, Patty, right? And on the board, you're going to have assignment, 0.1, mastery check 0.1. You'll notice the notes are not on here for a check, but you will physically show me the notes. Now, whether that's just opening up the Google Doc and showing it to me, you'll have to file, make a copy, right? And then you can type your notes and just keep it in a folder in Google Drive. Or if you just physically show me the hard copy of your notes, those are things you'll have to have done before you move on to before you take the mastery check. So when you come up for the mastery check, for that lesson, you should bring up either your um, computer to show me your notes. You should either bring up the hard copy to show me your notes. Either way, okay? So in this example, I have a couple different scenarios. I just wanted to cover them all. Let's start with the worst case scenario at the top. Timmy. Um, Now he has two red X's, which means he needs to put the brakes on here. And this will be rare that you would have two red X's, because generally, if you have a red X, I'm not having you move on. To say it will never happen would not be true. So I do want to put that scenario out there. In this scenario for Timmy, he basically would have done the assignment, turned it in. I'm probably overwhelmed helping somebody else, but I recognize there's maybe 8 minutes left in class, and I want him to do the mastery check before class ends, because he really can't move on at that point. He needs the mastery check to move on to 0.3. So he says, hey, I'm done with the assignment. I just kind of trust him and say, great, put it in the bin. And I give him the mastery check to do while I'm helping somebody else. Class ends. I look at the mastery check. Timmy did not do so well. I go back, I look at the assignment. Timmy did not do so well, which explains why he did not pass the mastery check. And so, in this hypothetical situation during tomorrow's class, I'm going to pull Timmy aside. His name will be on the board. He'll see this. And I would say, hey, you got to go back and redo this assignment. When you're done with that, I want to see it. And then we're going to do the mastery check at the mastery desk. Sheila's scenario is she's caught up. She did the assignments. Her mastery check, she just didn't do so great on. So she'll want to check in with me as well. Joey, he's doing great. He's ahead of pace, right? So now he could have his phone. He could have it out. Whether or not I want him on it or not, that's going to be a conversation we have. My first inkling would be, hey, Joey, do you have any other classes that you have work to do in? He might say, yeah, I've got a science test next hour. I'd love to be able to study for it. Joey's earned that right to work on something else because he's ahead of pace. So I would say, hey, that's great. If you want to work on your science or study for your science test, you can do that. Or if you want to work on your language arts project or whatever it may be, he's earned that right. Okay. What's not going to be okay is if, Patty's situation, let's say she's done all the assignments. She didn't do the mastery check. So I want to talk to her. I kind of walk the room. I see she's working on language arts and I say, hey, what are you doing? This is social studies, right? You should be working on geography right now. You have a mastery check you have to redo. Okay, so you're on pace, but you did not get mastery in 0.2. So we need to go back and relook at that, right? So that should be her first priority. After that, then I would say she could move on to something else in a different class. Okay. So just to be clear, if you're behind or on pace, you need to be working on social studies. Being behind, is not going to be grounds for you to try do a different class, right? So it's possible that, in this example, instead of Patty having this X, if this was blank, it just means Patty hasn't taken it yet, right? So that would be her first priority too. She needs to take that mastery check that day. Okay. And I'll know this will get updated. And that's why we do the do now right away. Because then that gives me a chance to update this spreadsheet and make it the most up-to-date as possible. And oftentimes that's why we do current events, because that gives me a chance to read all the do nows while that's going on. Speaking of which, videos like this, like I said earlier in this video, Chromebooks are for watching instructional videos and completing homework assignments. There's a 20-minute time limit to watch the videos, and computer privileges can be taken away if abused. Now, this video might be a little bit longer than I would like. And so, I would say, you know what? This one is going to be maybe 25 minutes. You might need to write this all down. It is rare, but I would probably let you know at the beginning of class. So if the pace calls for this video to be watched today in class, I would say, hey, before you guys get started, those of you who are on pace, the video for today takes a little bit longer, so I'm going to let you have 25 minutes to do that. Okay. Now, if it becomes an issue and you're constantly on and you have the fast fingers when I walk by and you're closing tabs and playing a game or something, then you'll just take notes from the textbook, or I'll provide you paper copies of this video, just the slides, and you'll have to do them that way. Speaking of the do nows that we talked about a couple minutes ago, key issue number 3. The do nows are a silent activity developed to get you focused on a working mindset for class. So when we walk in, it's very possible you're excited. You're running into a buddy who you don't see all day until this hour. You're catching up or whatever it may be, and that's totally fine. When the bell rings, though, you need to have a do now in your hand. You need to be in your seat, and you need to be silent working on that. Okay, that's to get you in a working mindset for class. I don't want there to be, the longer the talk and the side chatter and horseplay or whatever it may be goes on, the harder and longer it takes your class to get settled. So we want a very calm, quiet environment. We will watch current events most days. That's also a silent activity. No phones need to be out for that. Like I said earlier, that's when I'm updating the spreadsheet for who's on pace, who's not, who needs to talk to me in class today. You'll get one warning about the do nows and not being silent while you're doing it. And then after that, you'll receive a 0 for daily points because everyone has a right to an education and to having a disruption-free education. And if you're not honoring that, then the consequence of that is you get a 0 for your daily points that day. When you come in class, either grab a sheet from the marked bin that says do now sheets, or you can use the Google form, and that Google form will be housed in Schoology at the very top of your class page because we use it almost every day. If you're someone who's going to use the Google form, it won't be housed under a unit. It will just be there every day for you to use accordingly. If you'd rather write it out, that's fine too, and then you can just put it in the do now drop-off bin. Key issue 4, lessons will close. Just because we are self-paced does not mean we can take forever. Check your unit objective sheets and the board for when lessons will close. Now, the nice thing about this format of this class is a snow day or being sick or being on vacation or whatever it may be really doesn't have to change any of this, because besides the mastery check, we can continue on with everything else. So you'll see up here, this in blue right here says lessons 0.1 to 0.3 must be completed by Tuesday, September 14th at 3 p.m. The in-class quiz is going to be on Wednesday. So the expectation is everyone's taking the quiz on Wednesday the 15th. Now, if you're behind, well, then you've got to work on that, right? To get caught up and take the quiz. And so then I may say, you know what, by Friday the 17th, the unit is going to close. The lessons are going to close. We're moving on, right? Or I might say, you know what, like 0.1 was due, ideally on the 9th. Now we're 8 days after that. 0.1 is going to close on the 17th. 0.2 is going to close on the 20th. And 0.3 will close on the 22nd. So I will have that on the board. It'll be very prominent. I will make numerous reminders for you. But know that although we're going to be on different lessons, we will always be on the same unit. So we want to make sure that we're cognizant of that. And so this objective sheet you'll get at the beginning of each unit with the dates, the objectives, the target dates to finish it, the warm-up questions, all of that. There's a little thing on the side here to check if you know where you are. Have you done the notes? Have you done the assignment? So that's a pacing guide for you. We have these command terms down here that will help you put the question or the objective into your own words. And so when lessons close, they close forever. This is to say there's no exceptions. I don't want to say that because, of course, there may be an exception, but they will be very, very few and far between because there really is no reason for you not to be able to finish it. That you have, the class time every day to work on it. You can do the stuff at home. Besides the mastery check, you can do all of it at home. So there's really no reason why it should take you any longer. I'm providing you with the class time. You really don't have homework in this class. Your homework is to just work in class with the time provided. So they will close and the zeros will be permanent. Sad face. Key issue number 5. There are 2 hand signals that we're going to use in this class to help you work more efficiently. There are fingers crossed, which I think you probably know on the left there. That means, hey, I need to use the bathroom. And then the other one is the hang loose with the pinky and the thumb, and you kind of shake it, right? Back and forth. That means, may I borrow a writing utensil? And so if I haven't done so already by this video, I will on this day show you where the writing utensils are, what that looks like, how to borrow them and stuff like that. But please know these 2 hand signals are going to be very valuable to you. I'm a very big believer in working smarter and not harder. I don't want you wasting 4 minutes in line waiting for me as I'm administering a mastery check or as I'm helping somebody else with something. So if you get my attention and just kind of wave, if you just have your hands up in the air and you have crossed fingers and I look at you and I nod approvingly, that's your signal to get up, grab the lanyard, go to the bathroom, and then hurry back. If you see the lanyard is gone, you might as well just wait because I'm only letting one person leave the room at a time. Now, the hang loose signal on the right here, this is can I borrow a writing utensil, right? And so if I see you just kind of waving your finger and thumb like that, pinky and thumb like that, I'll, again, probably nod. Yep. You need to give me some kind of collateral, whether it's your phone, your watch, your left shoe, or whatever it may be. You put that by the utensil bin, and then and then you grab a pencil, pen, marker, whatever it may be, use it for the class. You come back, you return the utensil, you take back your personal item, and you're good to go there. Now, the unique thing about this class also is that you start the class with 30 extra credit points. Now, a lot of times people say, what can I do to get my grade up? Or, what can I do for extra credit? And really in this class, there's nothing. You can get extra credit by doing the aspire to-dos. Those are things that you will do if you are ahead of pace. And you can also stay in class, right? So you will start the trimester with 30 extra credit points. And that's quite a bit. But you will lose 3 every time you leave the room. So if you're going to the bathroom in here every day, after 10 days, you're out of extra credit points already, 2 weeks into the trimester. So be wise about using those. We want to keep you in class as much as possible. Nice work. You are now done with the notes and the video for 0.2. You can move on to the assignment 0.2, talking about cell phones with teenagers in the classroom. This assignment is located in the labeled bin in the back of the classroom. It would say 0.2 assignment.